brave and coming out on a really, really chilly night. Thank you for being here. In a minute, I'm going to ask Michael to start the prelude, but what I want to do is a tech check. Do we have anybody signed in on Zoom, Helen?
Yes, there are 3 people.
Okay. And can those people here, if they could give Helen a thumbs up?
Yes, got a thumbs up. Yep.
And if everybody who is here, this row in the middle sort of got way in the middle. If you guys like sitting there, that's great. I'm not sure how we sort of got a 4th row here, but we've got a lot. But feel free to sit where it's comfortable. If everyone could wave back to the camera. See that camera way back there? It's our reminder that we have some online folks. So we are going to not do the chalice lighting for probably about 3 or 4 more minutes, just to tell my ladies with candles and fire at the back. But we welcome everyone that is here tonight. I'm Reverend Sue Browning. I am the minister who serves the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River, and I'm here tonight with a few others. We're going to do our welcome in a minute, but to get ourselves centered, Michael Casey, our pianist, will start with our prelude. Thank you, Michael. It's his first eve of the eve. All of a sudden I was going, I hope he remembers it's the 23rd, not the 24th. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River. I'm Sue Browning. As I said, I serve this congregation and I serve the congregation in Easton. And one of the really cool things is I've got members from the congregation there here tonight too. I met somebody from Arlington when I came up, which is my home congregation. They're visiting us tonight, and somebody who's come back after he's guessing the years.
Probably more.
Probably more. He's owning up to that. So we gathered tonight to pause. We gathered tonight to appreciate the beauty of this season. So dark tonight, so cold, and so windy. So that's what we're doing tonight, but we're also coming together to learn, not like in a school way, not like you're gonna have homework, but the stories of the Christmas season teach us something different every year. So we come also to learn and then to be together. Whether you're here or you're online, we recognize that in this third version of a pandemic Christmas, we yearn for connection of some sort. How many people here have already had your Christmas plans, your Christmas week altered some way by something you didn't expect? And you're here, so that's but we start with knowing that our plans change more than they used to. We come together as Unitarian Universalists where we strive to be deeply inclusive. So if you're visiting us, if you're online or in the sanctuary, please follow up and call and check in with us. Because it's at services like this that we meet new people and we get to share our values. One of the things we do when we start a Unitarian Universalist service is we light the chalice. Usually we light it from up here, but today we're going to light it from the back. I'll ask our chalice lighters to start down the aisle here as I read. Flame, friend of our most ancient ancestors, we kindle you now to make you visible in this time. We light our chalice in a moment of imagination. We light our chalice knowing there's a turning of the heart every day of our life to some sorrow, to some joy. We light our chalice in a call for hope. We light our chalice in a call for justice. Chalice, we talk to you. Burn bright before us. Burn bright within us. So tonight we're going to sing quite a bit. And I need your great hymnal. And we're going to start with Joy to the World. And I ask everyone to rise in body or spirit. And we're going to go ahead and do all of the verses of Joy to the World. So Michael, you're going to start us out and let us know when to come in. Are you going to play it all the way through or just want us to start?
I'm just going to play a few measures.
Okay, and when Philip starts singing really loud, we'll know it's time to start singing. Okay, here we go. So tonight I have a partner and we're going to tell you a story called The Snow Tree. So Kim Aging, let's test that mic. If we want to turn up the lights just a little, that might be good.
Which one is it?
We got glasses, we can borrow, it's good, it's all good.
Oh, there it is. All right, so I have a Christmas story this evening for all ages, and it is from a bit of a different perspective. It's so weird, I can't see you guys when I have to go back and forth. So we all here must be celebrating Christmas as we are here this evening together. And my guess is that we each family has their own way of doing that. In the Christian tradition, they're celebrating the hope that comes with the birth of Jesus. And many secular celebrations focus on goodwill and family. My mother raised my sisters and I Christian, I like to say in the Taoist way. But she loved her traditions and she loved Advent. And during the Christmas season, we celebrated Advent. The 4 Sundays before Christmas represent the anticipation process. We lit a candle on each of those 4 Sundays on a special Advent wreath. And the first Sunday was for love, then the second for hope, the third for joy, and the last Sunday before Christmas was for peace. And I feel like these are tenets that most religions try to practice and celebrate with their own holidays, and Christmas is focused on those. As many of you know, my spiritual path leans much closer to the natural world, and tonight's story is from nature's point of view. In the Christmas story of Jesus, people are looking for signs of better times. And tonight's story has those same tenets of love, hope, joy, and peace as signs of better times, but from nature's point of view. So see if you hear it as well. And I'm not gonna show all the pictures from the story. Sue and I are gonna read together, but I am gonna show the first picture and then the last.
You can see how many pictures we can get through there, and since we have only a few kids here, maybe they could even pass the book because we have it all written down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys wanna hold
If anybody is under, let's say, the age of 20, 50.
That's me.
Feel free to share as you feel comfortable. So here we go. It's called The Snow Tree. Little Bear woke and the world was all white. Where have all the colors gone, he cried, for he had never seen such a white and wintry world before. But the wind only answered with silence. He was nervous.
Then out of the snow came his friend Lynx. He held orange leaves in his mouth. For the snow tree, he explained, so we will remember the warm glow of autumns and the burning sunset of an evening sky.
So they got the orange covered. Okay. And next came the squirrel. She carried scarlet berries. Scarlet's like a red, and she laid the berries at the little bear's feet. They glistened almost like drops of blood against the snow to remind us of flowers and fruits from the forest and fields, she said.
Blue Jay flew down with feathers held firmly in his beak. It's all I have to give, he said, but these feathers are as blue as the summer sky and the rolling waters of the river.
That blue covered, and then from deep inside the frozen forest, a mink appeared. Mink's about that big, it's got really dark fur. Nature's finest, she declared, adding velvet fur to the bear's collection. It's brown like the rich earth that's underneath the snow.
Little Bear looked up as Raccoon came padding softly through the snow and spread green shoots before him. My offering is to remind us of the green of spring, of new life after the sleep of winter.
And then, and these really are animals, there were reindeer. Reindeer that are from far up north. They moved slowly forward through the snow, and they had purple rock piled high upon his back. Here's a color that will endure forever, he said, as purple as the mountains and the rolling clouds of thunder.
And then Bunting alighted on a nearby branch, laden down with yellow cones. I carried all I could, she said, so we won't forget the yellow corn that grows all summer long in the fields beyond the forest.
And then the Arctic fox brought icicles, and they sparkled like silver in the frosty light, like raindrops in the sunlight. It's time to decorate the snow tree, she said, and you, little bear, will guard this tree all winter long. Your black fur will remind us of the night's velvet darkness.
And last of all came Moose. A bright golden star hung gleaming at its neck. Set this star high upon the tree, he proclaimed. Let its light shine out to all the creatures of the forest, that they may gather to celebrate the glory of nature and the beauty of peace and friendship this Christmas time.
It's a little bear who we know hadn't seen all that white before. That little bear just stood there, and he smiled and gazed at the glorious tree. Even in the middle of winter, on a cold, windy night, the colors were back. Thank you, Kim, for selecting that story. And as we talk through some other lessons tonight, we'll be referencing that story a couple of times. Thank you, Kim. And now we're going to sing "O Come All Ye Faithful." It is number 253, and we're going to stand and stretch again because we've got a couple more lessons coming up. So 253, "O Come All Ye Faithful." Check on that one. Good job again. So we're going to now tell a story. And as we all get older, everybody here is a little bit, maybe not the littlest ones, but he's a year older than last year. And like the snow tree, or sometimes like the story of Rudolph, we tell the stories over and over so that we learn them and that we hear something different year after year. And one of our traditions is to tell the Bible stories that come with Christmas. Here's my challenge to you. We've got 3 different readers who are going to come forward and read. They can come right to this mic, or actually you can go to that one. will work fine. And I'm gonna ask what questions for the people here come up for you when you hear the familiar stories. A special question to ask tonight is, who do you see as leading during the stories? And who is following during the stories? Think about what leaders do. Think about geese up in the sky and they switch that V shape they're flying. People take turns and they lead and they follow in different ways. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have our three readers, and after they do their reading, we're going to sing one verse. So you need to be ready a little bit here. I can get on page 246, so we'll be all ready. Or hymn 246, not page 246. Everybody ready? Everybody have a hymn though? We're just going to sing the first verse, and we're going to stay sitting down, and then we'll do that for each of the readings. So who is our first reader is Mary. So Mary, why don't you come up there? Thank you for agreeing to read. And we will go through the lessons.
The birth of Jesus. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
In that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone all around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for you see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find the child wrapped in bands of cloth and laying in a manger." And suddenly there was an angel with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those whom he favors."
231.
And the mountains every time, and
When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing which has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in a manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told to them.
Just so we get some exercise, let's stand for this last one, and I'm gonna make the executive call. Let's do all the verses. This one's a fun one. For Go Tell It on the Mountain, 239. So I want to think about the stories. I know it's sometimes hard when we hear these stories over and over, but there's a couple major themes that are worth listening to here. One is the story starts with the Roman government, the people that are in charge, and they're ordering all these people. Have you ever been ordered out of your house and told you had to travel? Right at that time. So there was a sense that in this big land, it's really hilly over there, I traveled over in that area, that there were these people in control, and they had armies and they were totally in control. But the story shifts. Just like the story of that little white bear and all the colors come together, all of a sudden we find that Mary, a young woman, is the center of our story. And she's about to deliver a baby. And if you think of the movies, think what happens. Think how many movies put an unexpected delivery of a baby in the movie. Maybe the baby's born in a taxi cab or a cabin in the woods. And at that moment, we actually have somebody who's a midwife here. They can picture how this all might be happening. At some point, everybody turns to the one person who's maybe delivered a baby before, and they're the person in charge. The story is centered on this person who knows something. And in the movies, we hear boil water. Always want to boil the water. get clean towels. So I'm wondering, this story about Mary 2,000 years ago, there was probably like someone like that who was helping, someone who was reassuring Mary and Joseph until the new baby was born, until that baby took a first breath. So we start with the government, we've got Mary, and then all of a sudden, like on cue, that's beautiful, it's fine. I wish we had a manger. And all of a sudden, the story changes again. When we're singing the songs, all of a sudden the angel are needed. So the angel's job in the Bible's story was to offer a broader perspective on what was going on. They were explaining that a very special baby, all babies are special, but they thought this baby might be really special and called by God to do some special things. And all of a sudden the angels are the leaders at that moment. They calm down the shepherds, because the shepherds are trembling and they're scared and they're nervous. They somehow came unglued at this unexpected moment. Not everybody can have it together at all times. So the angels were really important to tell the story. But then the story shifts again. The shepherds who now had their talking points, they now knew what they had to do was to tell the story. Thank you for the angels for that, but the shepherds really were the ones that were needed because they knew how to go over all the hills. They were really good hikers. They knew the hills, they knew the dark terrain. And it was their job to go tell the world what has happened. Think about how many handoffs happen in life and in stories. I think when we have a crisis, when we have an emergency, when we have a hurricane or even a pandemic, in intense moments, we often do our best work as community. We listen to one another and we let our skills come together. Some people who usually aren't the leaders, often it's children, are the ones that we follow. They step up. And when you have different leaders step up, it takes some other folks to be followers. At the center of this, I think when the world works its best, we have some clarity on what needs to be done, and we're willing to let everybody help. Earlier, we decorated a tree just out of all the parts of nature, all the parts of color came together. The other story I think about with Christmas is Rudolph. Think about Rudolph and the ways he had the shiny red nose. He was actually sort of a pain in the neck. Santa was frustrated, Santa's yelling at Rudolph's parents, we've got all this stuff going on. But on that one special night, they were thinking of canceling Christmas. And even though they were thinking of canceling Christmas, it turned out everybody goes, we have an idea. Santa's got an idea. And Rudolph steps up. Rudolph could have said no, could have said I'm too scared, could have said I'm not trained, but he's the one who stepped up and led. So as we think about the Bible stories and about the baby and the hymns that we sang, and the snow tree story, and about Rudolph, it reminds us how much we all need to pay attention to what's needed. Sometimes we each need to step in. Have you ever had to step in and do a chore that wasn't your chore in the family because it just needed to be done? Sometimes we need to just step around. We need to be part of a group helping. And sometimes we step back, we step away. But when all that happens, it is a profound experience. Maybe you've been in some place where people are working collaboratively on something that needs to get done. So maybe some of the stories we can hear this year about Christmas are about cooperation. And to leave you with one more image of cooperation, I was thinking about the World Cup and playing soccer. Some of you may play soccer on your own, or coach soccer, or do different pieces. So when soccer is working really well, you might have some people that are the show-offs, the people with the egos, the superstars. But when it really works well, there's an art of passing the ball, of knowing when to be a helper and when to support, and then when to step up, take charge, and take the shot. I think anybody who watched the World Cup a couple times or was going, just now's the moment, do it. You need a general strategy, you need to be flexible, and you need the people cheering from the side. We all have a role when we're offering support. We have something to offer when we trust one another. So ultimately, in the Bible story, in time, Jesus becomes an adult who offered, here's what his gift was. He offered the world a really clear sense of what was right and what was wrong. He led by being a teacher. He shared his wisdom through parables and stories, and he encouraged others to let their lights shine, each in their own ways. He wanted everyone to contribute, because if we're going to have love and fairness, sometimes we're going to lead, sometimes we're going to follow, but we need to be doing it together. When are you called to lead? When are you called to be an engaged follower? Are you ready to have the roles shift quickly? So that's our message for tonight, our lesson. Because we all are valued. We all are accepted just the way we are. And if we're going to have this world we dream about, all of our skills, all of our gifts are needed. And I think that's the lesson we're called to pass on from one generation to another. May it be so. And as we think about that story, we've asked Michael to play a little bit of music here as we gear up for a blessing, and then we're going to get to Silent Night in just a minute. But as Michael plays some music, reflect on the places that we're leaders and followers. Thank you, Michael. And we're going to turn off the lights in the foyer. So we're going to turn off all the lights way in the back there. And I'm going to offer a blessing as we get those lights out. And does anybody still need a candle? Does everybody know how to use your candle? It's a little switch at the back. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to read us a blessing, and then we're a small enough group, we're going to try to stand in a big circle all the way around. We're going to quietly, after I read the blessing, get into a big circle. And you don't need your hymnals. All you need is the order of service, because it's got the words that we need. Not too, I need a little light here. So first the blessing and then the circle.
Okay.
So I want everybody to be in this really quiet time. In this pause, we can sense the ways we are blessings to one another. In this pause, let us extend our care to all of those who came before us. All of us, all who helped us find our way through rituals and tradition. We offer gratitude for those memories. And we hope too that we can continue to shape the meaning of Christmas. We offer gratitude to all who have built and loved and sustained this specific religious community. We express gratitude for the food we have available to us, to the shelter available to us, to the neighbors, to the helpers, to the teachers, the first responders, the workers in the stores. We offer our gratitude for so much. Just take a moment too to remember that there are many in need of food and shelter and community. We commit to extend our love and our care and our sense of hope to all. We offer our commitment to draw the circle wide so there is no one on the outside. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, may the hope and sense of possibility offered in the Christmas stories and all the stories of this season sustain each of us, not only tonight, but in the year to come. We're going to quietly get in a circle. See how quietly we can do it. And I thought the words were in here. It appears they are not. You will need your hymnal. Sorry, 251. You do need your hymnal, 251. So we get an injury-free silent night. You can stretch all around. Michael, do you have enough light? Yes. Okay, we're going to sing all of the verses, and we're going to sing 251.
And now for our traditional closing words by Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are back home again, and the shepherds are tending their sheep, then the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among people, to make music in the heart. Jesus of Nazareth, whose birth we celebrate, lived a life of kindness and compassion. If we can see that same love from long ago spanning across the centuries into our own lives tonight, then the true spirit of Christmas continues. Merry Christmas to you all. May you have dreams of sugar plums and a wonderful new year. And now the service is concluded. Please join us for cookies and fellowship.
100.